Feminine energy is all the rage these days. Everyone wants to embrace it. But how do you tangibly tap into your feminine energy in a busy standard corporate job? Here are 3 keys for you. Welcome back to Align Your Day. I'm so excited you're here. My name is Jenna Thanopoulos and I'm your certified life coach. So today, as you knew from the intro, right, we're going to be talking about how to really embrace your feminine side, your feminine energy in a standard corporate job. I'm sure you've seen all the rage now. There's like thousands of reels and TikToks and coaches and all the things really, talking about the importance of tapping into your feminine energy, tapping into your emotional body, remembering that, you as a woman have this feminine energy within you. Actually, everyone does, no matter whether you're woman, man, non-binary, we all have feminine energy within us. And so if you are someone who really wants to tap in, activate your feminine energy, activate your inner magnetism, and really feel like, your life can have more things flow to you rather than you always having to hustle, to burn yourself out, to feel like you have to be succumb to, the standard 24-hour hormone cycle of a man and kind of continue to hustle and burn yourself out. We want to find a way to really obviously work towards our goals and of course show up in the way we want to show up in our corporate jobs and our careers. But how can we do so really honoring that we, as a woman, if you identify as a woman or if you want to honor your feminine energy, how do we do so in a way that allows you to tap into that feminine energy, to not feel as burnt out, to still feel like the queen of your life and feel like you are really radiating from the inside out and all the other benefits that come from really embracing this feminine side of you. So today we're going to talk about some ways that you can do this in tangible ways that you can start to do this, even if you have a busy corporate job. This is coming from firsthand experience. I have a corporate job currently, and so I love implementing these things in order to ensure that I'm still tapping into and honoring my feminine energy and all those things. Because if we don't do so, like I said, what happens when we don't honor our feminine energy, honor our cycles? We start to numb out our emotions. We can easily get depressed. We can feel like we're detached from life in general. We can feel like we're detached from the zest of life. We can feel like it's hard for us to make decisions because we're always in our head, always overthinking, rather than letting ourselves fully just process our emotions that are present. We can be attracting men who are not as ambitious or who are more quote unquote in that feminine energy because we don't feel safe in really receiving someone who leads us, because we tend to be more of the control freaks. And so there's basically a myriad of repercussions that can come when we do not honor our feminine energy as women, or if you want to, if you're not a woman, just someone who wants to honor their feminine energy, right? I'm just going to say woman, but obviously just know that this can apply to anyone who wants to honor their feminine energy. I'm just saying it as like a blanket statement, so please don't come after me or anything. But yeah, so that is that. So let's get started. So my first kind of tip for you here today is it's actually a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because I feel like we hear feminine energy and you probably immediately think of, doing your hair, getting your makeup done, like looking all beautiful during your workday. Like, oh, is she just gonna tell me to like wear lingerie as I do work from home or whatever? And it's like, no girl, like don't worry, we're gonna have some more tangible tips for you. But all those things, all those aesthetics are obviously really important because the feminine, is all about beauty and aesthetics. Think about like Aphrodite, the Greek goddess. Think about Venus, very like feminine energies, all about beauty, all about luxury, all about aesthetics. And while those are all keys and, great, I'm actually going to bring in a different perspective first here. So my first key for you is, let's go back to the foundation of this. And let's ask yourself, how is your structure feeling in your day-to-day? Is your actual structure of your day supportive? And I know you might think, Jenna, that sounds a little bit more quote unquote masculine energy. Not to say like masculine doesn't mean man, it just means more masculine energy. It means structure, it means goal setting, it means forward thinking, it means systems, it means tangibly doing work. Like that's more of like the masculine side of things. Rather than the feminine's more of like the emotions, the beauty, the intuition, the being present rather than forward thinking, just some key differences. So we're actually going to talk first about how is your masculine energy in your day-to-day for yourself? How is your structure of your day right now? And the reason that this is so important is because the feminine side of you, the part of you that wants to stay more present, the part of you that wants to maybe, tap more into her emotional body, the part of you that wants to feel more radiant and more magnetic, that part of you is not going to feel safe unless you have some sort of structure, right? Think about it like having a backbone of anything, right? You need some sort of backbone, you need some sort of foundation in order for things to thrive. You need a good foundation of soil in order for that flower to thrive. Think about that in terms of your day-to-day, in terms of your corporate workday. And I want you to ask yourself, is your current structure of your day supportive for you? Okay, so this is more, like I said, more of the masculine side of your day, but the feminine part of you won't feel safe unless you have a supportive structure. So some questions to consider is when you're doing, are you like doing your work, like are you able to do your, I guess like most quote unquote intense work of the day when you are feeling most energized, right? That could be one way that you can kind of assess if your structure is being supportive to you. And if not, is there a way you can start to communicate that to your management, to your leaders, right? And you could communicate it in a way that's like, I want to give my best value to this project, to this team, and I know that I get my best work done at X time frame of hours. Is there a way we can work something out, right? That is something that can seem more masculine, but can actually allow, like I said, that feminine side of you to feel more safe, to feel more present, because you're actually honoring your natural energy cycles. And so when you feel like you're honoring yourself, that feminine part of you can start to come out more and can start to feel more present, more flowy, more loose, because you're doing your work in a way that's supportive to you. Feminine energy is all about support, feeling nourished, feeling supportive. And so how can you ensure that you're setting up your workday as much as possible in a way that's nourishing to you? That is very key when it comes to enhancing your feminine energy, even in a corporate job, right? And I know that this is maybe a lot easier said than done. I know maybe some project teams are like super strict. There's always these meetings, you need to come to them. But I think a lot of firms are actually becoming a lot more open to kind of like different working styles, open to ensuring that employees are feeling, empowered in their workday. And so it can start with a simple conversation and kind of going from there, right? And you can kind of assess, like, does this company actually care about ensuring that I'm doing the best work, ensuring that I'm able to do my work in a time frame of the day that's supportive, right? So that could be one thing that could be like a simple change. Another thing could be like, I guess more basic, like, do you have certain goals that you set for yourself each day? And are they realistic? Are they realistic? Because if you kind of like overwhelm yourself, right, with too much structure, too many goals of the day, that can also make your feminine energy a lot more, resistant to really show and to really come out, because it won't feel safe, because you're going to feel so like overwhelmed and in your mind and thinking. That part of you that wants to tap into your body, that wants to tap into your emotions, that wants to feel more flowy, that part of you is not going to be able to come out because you're in your mind a lot. Masculine energy is more like mind, thinking, head energy. Your feminine energy is more like body, flowy, emotions, like all that stuff, right? So you're not going to feel safe to do that if you're in your head all day thinking about all these goals you need to accomplish. So the second thing is, based on like the structure piece, is to ask yourself, do I have a good balance of, maybe setting a couple actions of the day that I need to do, that I need to pursue, but not so much that I'm overwhelming myself, right? And a really key thing that I want to remind you of is, so much of the time we want to focus on like, how do I put this? Busy work, like just doing things just to do them. And that's just basically tricking our minds into thinking that if we're busy and if we're doing something, we're being productive and we're, taking steps forward in our career or in our goals. And that's not always true. Sometimes you could set 10 things on your to-do list, and it could be like 10 random ass things, basically. And if you just did 3 things that are really like, okay, these 3 things are going to really move me forward, maybe push me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but enough so that I feel like I'm making progress. I mean, that could be, just as supportive or even more supportive, and you will feel less overwhelmed because you won't have 10 different things to think about. And that will allow your feminine energy, and that will allow you to tap into your body more throughout the day and like feel more in your feminine, quote unquote. Does that make sense? Like, I hope I'm making sense here. It's like, where is your structure not supporting your ability to feel more present, to feel kind of, more in your power and your feminine energy throughout your day? So that's really, really key, is like making sure you're setting like realistic and good goals. And just like one other thing I wanted to note about this that you can kind of think about is similar to what I said prior, right? About sometimes you just want to take action and take steps just to do them, or just like do tasks just to do them. Ask yourself, if I could only do 3 tasks today, what would they be? Like, set a limit for yourself, and you'll be surprised about what you say, because you'll be more inclined to take steps that are actually going to move you forward rather than just doing the same old shit you usually do, right? And a really big thing you can ask yourself is not how, but who. A big thing when it comes to making a stance, I'm sure in your corporate job, in your firm, in your career, is who you know, is your network. And so maybe instead of doing 10 different things, you can ask yourself, who is one person I can set up a 20-minute coffee chat with and maybe gain this knowledge and more? And that would even like allow me to build my connections, build my network, right? So little things like that, where you could, instead of taking like 10 different steps, you can take one and allow it to lead you to maybe something even more beneficial for you, while also growing your network tangibly. Just like an example for you, right? Where are you just taking steps just to take them, and how can you minimize it to make sure you're, taking the steps, taking the action, but that they're actually beneficial for you, and you're not just like doing 25 different things just to stay busy. Because staying busy is not going to allow you to, like I said, really tap into that feminine part of you. So that's really key, is like this first part of how can you ensure your structure is nourishing and supportive to you throughout your day. And like, those are some keys you can kind of ask yourself as you consider that, I guess. So that is part 1. The second key here, and I kind of mentioned it for you a little bit, but the second key to activating your feminine energy is tapping more into your body and your body signals, your emotions. Because like I said, the mind, right? Staying in your mind and thinking, that is more of like a quote unquote masculine energy. So if you want to, really enhance your feminine energy, kind of be more of that magnet in your life, you got to tap more into your body, okay? And so what does that mean, tap more into your body? Jenna, what the hell are you talking about? So this just means bringing your focus and bringing your awareness, bringing your focus and your awareness to your body more throughout the day. It's so easy to stay in your mind, to stay in that thinking, but bring that focus and energy to your body, okay? So you can do little things like having body scans throughout the day. I have a free body scan that I took you through in one of my past podcast episodes. So I'll put it in the show notes for the YouTube, or I'll put it in this podcast episode if you're just listening to the podcast episode. But go ahead and listen to that. Like, take 2 minutes throughout your day and scan it, and just bring your focus below your neck and to your body, and see, are there any points in my body that are feeling tension? Do I feel like there's any, emotion that's feeling really present in some area of my body? Maybe one day you're feeling a little bit more, you start to like bring your awareness lower, and maybe you realize, wow, I'm feeling really nostalgic today, or I'm feeling really sad today, or I'm feeling really grateful today. Just, it's so important to notice those emotions that are flowing through you, because that's really honoring your feminine energy, because the feminine's all about emotions, all about tapping into your body. And another big thing with this is noticing your body signals for when you're aroused, aka when you're stressed. So it's so key to start to notice. Basically, there's 2 forms of like quote unquote getting aroused. So if you think about it I explained this prior, but if you think about your nervous system as like 2 horizontal lines, in between those horizontal lines is your window of tolerance. That's when you're feeling present, you're feeling at ease, you can handle the challenges that your day brings, you're feeling like focused. That's like your ideally what you would want where you would want your self to feel throughout the day. But you could also get aroused, and we tend to get aroused very easily in our society, and we tend to get aroused so much so that we don't even realize we're actually aroused and we're not in a calm state. It's like easy to think that it's easy to think nowadays that being aroused, being stressed is like normal. Does that make sense? Like, it's easy to think that when you're overthinking, when you're in maybe a more anxious state, it's easy for that to become your norm these days because we're so go, go, go. So what's really key for, especially for your feminine energy, is to start to tap into your body signals and honor and notice, am I getting aroused here? And how can I ensure that I'm slowly regulating myself? Coming back to what I was saying, right? If you imagine that your nervous system as like in between two horizontal lines is when you're feeling good, when you're feeling present. When you're above that top line, that's when you tend to get hyper aroused. It just means when you're in a more anxious state. So maybe more anxious, more jittery, angry, like spiraling thoughts, stressed out. It's really important you start to notice throughout your day when you're starting to get that way and actively, build a muscle of calming yourself down. It's just called regulating. You want to bring yourself back down to a calm state of being. Or what you could do is, or what's important to notice is when you're dropping below that bottom line. So that just means when you're getting hypo aroused, this just means, you can tend to, when you're stressed, maybe this means you tend to detach, you tend to kind of like numb out, maybe you start scrolling social media if you're stressed, maybe you just like tend to think about something completely different. That's typically more hypo aroused. It means that what you need to do is bring more energy into your body. So eat some spicy food, drink cold water throughout your day. I have like different exercises you can do in my free guide actually that I wanted to also let you know of. So if you're like, oh, how do I actually start to tap into my body signals and like really nourish my own nervous system more, even in a busy workday? I have a 5-day free guide that takes you through that process, that gives you like very simple things you can do that will take less than 15 minutes per day, but they will start to build the muscle of regulating yourself, of understanding your body signals so that you can feel more present throughout your day and you can feel like you're really honoring your feminine energy. It's very simple and it's specifically for women who are in a more corporate busy workday. So if you want that, go ahead and download it. It's a free 5-day guide. I'm going to put that in the show notes of the podcast. I'll put that in the YouTube. It's really powerful. And basically how it works really quick is you get your first email on Monday, and the first email is like an intro email, like what to expect in this guide. And then each day in the morning at about 7 a.m. Eastern, you're going to get an email sent to your inbox of like a couple steps to do or a couple questions to think about as you go about your work day. And so each day is like leading on to the next, and it's for 5 days. And it helps you stay more present. It helps you start to release people pleasing. It helps you start to understand what your stress cues are throughout the day and how to start doing little things to help you regulate and really come back to your, to the present moment, come back to feeling less stress, and ultimately come back to your feminine energy and being more in flow. So that's really, really key. Go ahead and download that. So that's the second part, is tapping into your body and knowing your body signals. Third key that is really important that I wanted to share when it comes to feminine energy in your workday. The third key here is to, it kind of goes along with, maybe not. I'm going to have a little bit of cold brew 1 second. I love emerald. This is so random, but I'm drinking, for those listening to the podcast, I'm drinking my cold brew in like an emerald cup. How amazing is the color emerald? I'm not going to lie. I feel like I really spotted that trend. Okay, I feel like emerald was like not as big. And last year I got obsessed with emerald, and now you look around every store and it's like emerald. I'm like, I was spotting something. Anyways, okay, just putting it out there. But so the third tip is focus and presence. Those are two keys that are really important when it comes to tapping into your feminine energy. Like I was saying in the beginning, the feminine energy is all about being present, soaking up the power in each moment, noticing the beauty in the trees, noticing the beauty all around you. Being present is how you tap into your emotional body. You cannot feel your emotions unless you're being present. So, all of those are really, that's why, all those things are really important to staying present and really important to staying in your feminine energy. So, you want to start to ask yourself, are there little pockets throughout the day where I can feel more present, where I can feel more, I guess like at peace with what each moment is bringing. And so how can this, okay, Jenna, cool. How can I do this throughout a corporate workday? Like literally start with the most simplest things. When you're taking breaks, take an intentional break. Look outside. It's actually really good to look at something far away instead of staring at your screen all day. Like, it's good to have little breaks. So every now and then, look out your window, and in those moments, like, observe. What are you noticing? What's beautiful around you? What are you seeing that's really sparking your eye? Because the feminine is all about, like I said, absorbing the moment, absorbing the beauty in each moment. So as you're taking your breaks, be intentional about them. And this can literally take a minute. Go outside, look and see what's beautiful around you. What's moving you around you in your scene? Like, is there a couple kids playing that are really like sparking some joy in you? Do you see some like high schoolers walking outside with their boyfriends and you're like, oh, that's so cute? Really feel that emotion as it gets ignited within you, because that is also a great way to tap into your feminine energy. And it doesn't take long. It's like, normally in your break, you probably just scroll social media. So, switch it up and really allow yourself to stay in your body. That's a really key thing, as I was mentioning. So what are things you can do to stay present and to notice your body sensations? Another key thing you can do is to like look around you, like look around in your desk or in your office and notice the details in things. So you can stare at like a cup and like notice all the intricacies in the cup. I can show you an example if you're watching a YouTube video. This cup has like a lot of ridges to it, right? So if I wanted to like get more present and like really just calm down, I could like look at all the ridges in the cup and just notice them and focus on them. And that's really important. I know that for some people, sometimes the details of things, it can get a little bit overwhelming. So just like notice if this works for you, but it does tend to work for a lot of people, is like just notice the details around you, and that allows you to be more present. And what you can do, one other step you can do is notice the separation between yourself and the objects around you. So what you can do is you can do like a little exercise. So you sit and like, you can like do this like literally in a minute in your workday, but you sit and, for example, like look at your door to your office and then like come back and focus on your body, and then look at the door and then focus on your body again. And notice if you could see the separation between you and that other object. That allows you to kind of build that muscle of knowing, okay, what am I thinking about a situation? What does the situation mean to me? How am I actually feeling? Rather than getting overwhelmed and not being able to make decisions. I know you're like, how is that little exercise gonna help you? But what it does is, like I said, it helps separate yourself, like your own energy, from other things. And you could actually start to do this with like other people, with friends and stuff. Just little exercises throughout the day of like, okay, this is me, this is my body, this is my energy. How is it feeling? And then you could look at something else and notice the difference. Okay. And I know this might seem weird. And if you have like any questions on this, you can just message me on Instagram and I'm happy to give you more insights, or if you want to hop on a call or something. But it's really like, that's just like something else you can do to kind of like tap into your body, because for the feminine energy also, it's really important to start to trust yourself, start to trust your gut instincts, trust your intuition. And it's hard to do that when you're not able to tell like what you're actually feeling versus what others have suggested to you versus what you're seeing on social media. It's hard to make that distinction, right? So what's really key is that you build that practice of knowing, okay, this is how my energy feels, how my body feels, how my emotions feel right now, and then this is what others are offering me. And that's how you can kind of stay out of that overwhelm and start to really make decisions that feel good to you and feel intuitive to you. And that is like ultimate like enhancing your feminine energy, because like I said, if you were to go about things in a more masculine way, you would think about all the options, you would think about the pros and cons, you would think about all the things. Whereas the feminine, she of course uses her head, uses her masculine energy, but that feminine energy is more about using your body, using your intuition, using your nudges, and going forward in that, using your inner wisdom that is encoded in your DNA basically, and going forward. Does that make sense? So it's really key to start to build that difference, and that's what exercises like that can do throughout the day for you. So that's the last one, is like focus and presence. And I guess one last thing I wanted to note was about that focus part. Like, are you actually giving yourself the space to focus throughout the day? Because it's so easy in our society to multitask, to do like 5,000 different things, to be overstimulated, and it's hard to really stay present and focus. So allowing yourself to focus allows yourself to stay more present, and like I said, really tune into your feminine energy. So what structures going back to what I said in the beginning, what structures feel most nourishing to you and allow you to feel most like focused throughout the day. And this could be like an ongoing process. I mean, this could take maybe a year to figure out, 2 years, whatever, but just start to play with it and ask yourself those questions, because then you'll start to notice, wow, I'm feeling a lot more present throughout my day. I'm really honoring myself and my energy. I'm giving better value to my workplace because I'm actually honoring when I'm feeling most focused, most energized. And then it's like you're able to feel more radiant outside of your workday because you're not in your head all the time. So there's just so many positives that come to really honoring your feminine energy. And I hope these are like some key steps that you can start to do to start to see those shifts. And I know that they're simple, but it's like building that muscle. Taking these little steps day by day will slowly shift this curve and really allow you to tap into your feminine energy. You could be like a completely different person a year, like literally a year from now, if you were to take these little steps each day. So really key. I mean, think about what this can mean for yourself in your day-to-day. Think about how much more vibrant you could feel on a daily basis. Think about how much more radiant and magnetic you could feel. Think about the kind of men you would attract if you were more in your feminine energy, not controlling and not always pursuing and not always doing all the things. Like, think about what that could bring to you in your life, and like allow that to be your guiding light as you're making these little commitments each day to honor your feminine energy. So yeah, so that's that for today. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, if you want that free 5-day guide, it's a really powerful process. And you can go ahead and just, all you gotta do is put your first name in your email. And like I said, you get that first email the following Monday. So really important, it's really powerful. So if you want that, let me know. And yeah, that's it, baby. I hope you have a beautiful day. Cheers to you. Cheers to being radiant, to being feminine, to being your sexy self, and really honoring that even in your busy work day. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.